Howdy. How are we doing? It is a recap of week 4. We had some exciting action, and we had a lot of unpredictable games happen this weekend. First, want to start the show with like, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, keep helping us build this thing, and we'll jump kind of right in. What's the best thing you saw this weekend?
Man, I tell you what, it's the Hoosiers sure as heck didn't go away, did they?
No, they didn't.
That'd have to be the tops of my list for anything that would happen this weekend with the dismantling of Illinois, which you said you thought it'd be a blowout and wasn't going to be close. But I'd be willing to bet you didn't think it would be 63-10.
No, that's like we were talking about earlier. I thought it'd be like when I was thinking blowout, I was thinking like 42-17. Man, I wasn't thinking what 60 was it 62 to 10, 63 to 10,
63 to 10. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and that was the backups, like, still continuing to score.
I switched over to another game very early in this when you saw it was a blowout. But didn't they have 63 at like the end of the third quarter?
Yeah, there was a lot of game left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, they could have very easily. I mean, you just never know, like, the way Curt Cignetti talks, And I love. I know me and you both are kind of big fans of him and how he applies his logic to game scheme and all that stuff in press conference. So, like, that he just wants to put it on everybody. Like, he's not one of those guys that's going to be like, well, I'm not going to put it on this team because that way if they, they'll call the dogs off sometime when the whole, like, full circle thing. Like, he would be the guy that's like, well, put 60 on me if you can, like.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And I think Cignetti's gonna, like, his mind frame's a lot like me and you. Like, the people that bitch about, like, oh, they ran the score up. If you don't like it, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of this, like, you're either on the side that me and you are on, or you're on the other side. There's really no in between ground, and it's seriously like it's a clear line that two sides of thinkers are on,
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Like, I don't even care if it's junior high football. Like, I'm not just gonna call dive, 25 times in a row, even with my backups, because I want my backups to get the good reps too, So, I mean, same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very similar too. Like, I feel that way about people. Like, I don't care if you score. It's my job to stop you. I'm also the same person. I'm not gonna, like, there's 3 things that bother me more than anything. Like, the people that immediately go to officials.
Oh yes.
I'm part of the old, like, saying, like, you never leave a game close enough to let the officials determine the outcome.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, and it's human error anyway. It's like what we said in a previous episode. Like, it's just a thing that, like, makes the game organic and natural. Like, they can't be perfect. So take it.
Sorry, keep on.
I was gonna say, just make sure, like you said, like, don't leave it in the hands of the officials. Like, just take care of business where you need to take care of it, so you're not getting. It's just like Miami, Ohio State in the national title all those years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about pass interference, but what did you do the whole game prior to that? Like, take care of business. Why are you
in that situation that you're in overtime?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the last thing that bothers me, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this in our group chats over the years. Have you ever noticed I never refer to Nebraska as we? I always refer to them as Nebraska.
Yeah, I know that I am a guilty person of saying we, but I have kind of picked up on that you don't say that. Actually, specifically, oddly, it's odd that you say that because I kind of started to pick up on it actually just this, like, today.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah, like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves in the world. Like, the fans are like, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Like, what did you do? Like, were you at 2-a-days in the fall? Like,
yeah. I mean, I know how sometimes it just kind of comes out as organic because, like, I've referred Oregon as to we in the heyday of my Oregon fanhood, and it's like, Like I don't. I just kind of it's not something I consciously think about. It's just trying
Yeah.
to. It's basically like, oh, this is where my alliance is, you know.
Yeah.
So, or
So, and I think
my
that
allegiance is. Sorry, wrong a word.
no, and I think that's where, yeah, and I think that's where like it's kind of grainy because there's people that refer to it organically, like the random person, like, oh, I thought we had him today, like that's one thing. But then you have the other people that are like getting in depth, like we didn't do this, we didn't do that, like we didn't protect Raiola, we didn't stop, like those
Yeah, and
people that take it so seriously, like they're on the team. That's where it gets me.
that's when you fall into the like you see that on X. Like
Yes.
that kind of got into what I was talking about
Yep.
on in the text message earlier today about I can't stand some of those people on X that can't see outside of college football or on the outside of their tribal teams, like their allegiance, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, just as the
Right.
example, I believe it was an Oklahoma fan, and or maybe an Auburn fan. It was definitely during that game, or of that game.
Yeah.
And they were like, basically, they spouting off all this stuff as facts about other teams, but yet they don't, like, it was from the viewpoint that was just like Auburn's going to still finish 11-1 or whatever the example is, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I'm also like, I think it's why we work so well together. Like, obviously, we both have our own opinions, but we can have dialogue, and it's not going to become who's got a bigger swinging dick. It's, what, I see your point, and you are right about that, or like
yeah.
earlier, if you say something like, oh, you know what, that was a good point. I'm glad you kind of called me out on
Yeah.
that. Like,
Well, I had to back up and make sure I said that too because, you know, initially like it just comes down to like are you going to sit there and think before you speak? Because my initial react, and I'm always been one of those guys that's kind of like an impulsive reactive dude,
yeah,
and I've gotten a lot better at not being so impulsive on it.
yeah,
And so I had to actually consciously my initial response going to piss him off because
yeah,
I think I was initially like defensive about Nebraska when the discussion we were talking about, you know,
no,
like and then I sat there and I was like, well, I've gone so many different ways on this anyway, and then I was kind of just like, well, I mean, that's a good point, you know, like just like basically conceding the fact that nobody really
well,
needs to be right. You know,
yeah, and
it's
that's how
just a
I am. Like,
conversation.
and we'll
So,
get into it with our top 30 because there's one team that like I was pretty gung ho at putting them at number one, and like you straightened me out on it. Like
yeah.
that is a good argument. That we'll get to that when we get to the top 30.
It's just for those of you that are kind of wondering what that topic is. Like I won't go into depth, but it's just the idea of the double standard.
Yes.
And it's a similar base thinking of how the AP poll views the SEC versus other conferences. Like you have to use if you're going to use this reasoning for one team, you have to use the same reasoning for this other team. You know, like you can't just pick and choose. So, but we'll get into
the only thing I will say that I did get a chuckle out of looking back on Friday's episode. I did have like an inner demon in me be very happy looking at that Ole Miss Tulane score. Because you were very adamant that was not going to turn out like the Miami game, and it turned out worse than the Miami.
Yeah, well, and the thing is I talked myself in through a circle because, like, even though I matter-of-factly was like, oh, it's going to stay closer, you know, whatever. Yeah. But then I also had made a mention that the key to the game was that Tulane had to find weapons other than Jake Retzlaff being the playmaker.
You were very adamant about that. Like, you can't just rely on Retzlaff.
And they weren't able to do that. So I should have, with my own logic, I should have been like, oh, yeah, Cody, you're right. It's probably going to be a blowout.
The one that, we'll talk about this in a minute, because there's one question I want to ask you before we jump into the games yesterday.
Okay.
Does Wisconsin win a game the rest of the year? Have you looked at their schedule?
Well, just knowing that it's a brutal. Like I haven't gone back to reevaluate since we talked about it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, like.
So what's remaining? You got it up here?
Yeah, I have it pulled up. They have a bye week this week.
Okay.
Then they go to Michigan.
No.
Then home against Iowa for homecoming.
No.
Home against Ohio State.
No.
At Oregon.
No.
Bye week. Home against Washington.
They will beat the bye week.
Yeah. Home against Washington.
No.
At Indiana.
Hell no.
Home against Illinois.
No.
At Minnesota. Maybe.
Maybe because it's the rivalry game. Yeah. But, and, you know, the way, if Minnesota, after dropping that game with Cal, like, you can, I don't know Minnesota's schedule right now, and it doesn't matter. We don't need to get into it. But, like, put the situation where, like, what if Minnesota's 5-6 going into that game, you know, like, and Wisconsin plays for a little, they're playing for the Paul Bunyan Axe, and they're trying to keep Minnesota from being bowl eligible. Then I could see a Wisconsin win.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's got to fall that way, maybe.
My only, like, pushback on that is, at what point is Wisconsin so beat up they're just trying to finish the season? Because at that point, is Luke Fickell still coaching?
Well, the AD came out and backed him.
Did he?
Yeah, so just today.
Okay.
But there was, I mean, there's been, I mean, just kind of like some of the similar programs, like the Wisconsin fans are not going to be patient that long. I mean, that's a proud program, you know, for what Barry Alvarez initially started it with, you know, and then the coaches beyond that, Bielema, and gosh, who's the guy? Not Anderson, the guy after Anderson, Paul Chryst.
Paul Chryst, yeah.
Yeah, so like the success they had under those guys, those three specifically, you know, like it's kind of what even happened to Paul Chryst? Did he get fired?
Yeah.
Like, what the? Oh my gosh.
And then the only other thing, like, Barry Alvarez is still alive and has a lot of pull up there.
Sure.
So I wonder if he's gonna be.
Maybe they'll hire Matt Rule.
No, don't even start that. I did see on Twitter, like, the Wisconsin fans, when you brought it up, like, they're all in on Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect fit.
They want Fitzgerald, or they want Bielema to come back.
So it's kind of interesting talking about Pat Fitzgerald, and you know, like, I guess if with this show, you know, we can have conversation, just take us wherever. Really, it doesn't matter. But like, I saw Florida's message boards.
I know right where you're going with this. I
they
saw
were
this
the flight tracker.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, the flight tracker, and they were like, they're looking for Pat Fitzgerald. So
well, and then like clearly, someone finally made the comment, like, they're flying to Chicago. My guess is they're going to meet with Coach Freeman, not with Fitzgerald. Like,
yeah, no.
Like,
I mean,
Fitzgerald would not work at Florida.
No, that doesn't even make sense.
No.
I'm surprised that any Florida fans are even throwing that out there.
No, that flight tracker should be flying to Indianapolis, and then driving 30 minutes south.
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
But I brought that up with Garen, and he said
I saw that on X.
Yeah, he made it sound like the Florida base, they're like all in on Kiffin.
Yeah, I kind of talked to him on the phone. It was before this weekend. We were talking specifically about the situation down there with the financials and stuff, and like it's the financials aren't a problem in Florida.
Okay.
So like they're able to just like, and that kind of goes back to the whole like who Bear Bryant, did Bear Bryant say that? Who said that about like who? Hopefully nobody finds out like how to utilize Florida, because that's the real like giant in the SEC.
Yeah, the real sleeping giant.
You know, like, and it really, I mean, Urban Meyer made that come true.
Yeah.
And ever since then, like, it's just been like, I mean, they've been chasing that same level since, you know.
Yeah.
But they've been doing it. They've been doing it with unproven dudes. That's the thing. Like, you know, Billy Napier, first-time head coach or whatever, and then
he coached at, what was it, Louisiana Lafayette? That's where he came from.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was
first-time
like,
Power 5.
Yeah. And in a job like Florida, to me, Florida can be a little bit more stingy on who they approach, because it's an attractive job. You know, like hot
That's a
recruiting
job
bed,
that
you know,
can be
like
turned around tomorrow.
yeah, like so it's kind of interesting, and a lot of Husker fans would not appreciate this comment, but it's like Florida has been treating their job the way that Nebraska should probably have treated theirs. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, Rule is a good, like, I think Rule is probably like a bridging of the gap type thing. Like, if, I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be here that, like, really long. You know, like, I just don't, but maybe he will. But, like, I was telling this to Alex McCoy and how, like, Indiana, you know, they just took they view themselves, you know, like they got to take the JMU coach, you know, or whoever,
Yeah.
you know, like just an up and comer. And so,
Yeah.
like, I feel like as the landscape of college football's changed, like Nebraska almost has to look like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna get like that established Lane Kiffin or whoever, you know, like you're just not. So
You mean the guy that was a career 81 and 81 isn't going to come into Nebraska and all of a sudden become a winner?
yeah,
The crazy
exactly.
thing is he left Nebraska 19 and 19.
Yeah, that's
What are the odds? You got a career 500 coach, and he literally gets fired after going 500.
right.
And then you bring in Frost, and God. And now he's 4-0 at UCF, and the young buck took down the old bull last night.
Well, they're gonna get beat this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
All right, let's jump into the games from this weekend. Completely, I was so off base with Iowa Rutgers. It's not even funny. I could not be more wrong.
I actually put money on the unders Friday during the afternoon.
Oof.
And like to see that game go 14-14 in the first quarter, I was just like, I mean, to put it nicely, like throwing my hands up and just like sitting back, folding my arms like you got to be effing kidding me, you know, like that kind of sentiment, you know. So I was not expecting Rutgers to be able to just throw it all over the yard. I knew that, you know, we talked about Kaliakmanis and his efficiency, and I thought that was just
He hadn't been challenged yet, really.
right, you know, like it just came to fruition because of what the early schedule is, you know, like, and he actually looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he looked really good, and I mean, Iowa's pass rush finally became a problem late, but you know, and then I was like, Gronowski ended up having a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed and also like not happy at the same time, and it has nothing to do with like Iowa finally finding some success offensively, but it just like irritated me to the point that was like, ooh, that doesn't look good for us on the day after Thanksgiving.
Well, and Iowa also got their main running back from injury with Moulton.
Yeah. Kamari Moulton came back, you know, like, and I mean, to me though, if you just go back and watch that film, if you were to watch that tape, and I think I told you guys this, like, I wish I had the drone footage of every game to be able to watch, like, on a condensed version, so I'm not having to like fast forward and I can just rewind it, like, kind of like what I was used to when I was coaching football and using Huddle, you know, like, it'd be nice to have that, but anyway, Iowa's offensive line, and this probably doesn't need to be really talked about, but like they just work so well in that zone scheme. It's seriously like it's the stretch play, you know, like the bread and butter of Iowa is that stretch play. The line is quick, and they get to their spots, and they know how to adjust like after chipping on a guy, and then they run play action off it and boot away, and then it's just like, I mean, it's like literally it's clockwork with Iowa. Yeah. Nothing changes, and they still just are okay. And they play great defense.
On, like, Gronowski finally showed why they spent so much money on him.
And he has that like he can run the ball.
Yeah. And
so like he's actually I hate saying this. I don't want to be positive about Iowa, but like, so they run stretch. Now Rutgers was very small on the defensive line, and they condensed their box, like selling out. I mean, it was ridiculous. They were playing cover one most of the time, and like that, but they're like condensed in there, and they're trying to slant, and they are trying to beat Iowa to those gaps, and it just doesn't work. It's like trying to throw a bunch of ants against a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it felt like on Friday night. It was kind of nuts, and so just impressed. And then Gronowski, like on those play actions, like if the coverage is there on the tight ends on those boots away and those flood routes, and then he can take off and run, because if it's not there right away, you take the ball down and go. Like it's going to be a problem for Big Ten schools on Iowa's schedule the rest of the way. Like I could see them being 8-9 wins too. The distance between like, oh gosh, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Indiana. I think those are your top four. I think from 5, and then you get kind of Michigan, but then maybe not. So like 5 through 10, 11 ish. That gap between those schools is not that big.
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of it.
Well, we'll find a lot about Iowa this week because Indiana's coming to town.
Well, that's too bad, because as soon as I talk good on Iowa, they're going to prove to me oh frick, why'd I do that this week?
Yeah. So we'll jump into Saturday, and I was at the Nebraska-Michigan game, so I did not see any of the morning window or the afternoon window. I was just kind of scoreboard watching, and first game we had was Arkansas-Memphis.
Okay, so
Ryan Silverfield, if he wasn't talked about before, he's talked about now.
Okay, so I threw a stat to you earlier today.
Yep.
Memphis is 25-5 in its last 30 games. They were 10-3 2 years ago. They were 11-2 a year ago, and they're 4-0 now. That's freaking really good. Yeah. And there's one other G5 school that's actually a similar record that you wouldn't even guess, but I'm not going to get into that yet. Yeah. Memphis is their quarterback, very, very similar scheme, very, very similar athletic skill set to Talon Green at Arkansas, which is why I was so excited about this matchup. Brendan Lewis, and the Memphis Tigers, they play fast, they asserted themselves essentially as the G5 darling moving forward. Like, because they won that game, for the optic of the G5 to have in their playoff appearance and all that kind of stuff, because now Tulane's been housed by Ole Miss. South Florida got destroyed by Miami. So Memphis is really kind of the saving grace to the G5 moving forward, and probably need to have them run the table to keep an optic for the G5 still deserves a shot, that idea. But yeah, great game. The crazy thing was they forced a fumble. Holy smokes, they forced a fumble on the 1 yard line with a minute to go. Arkansas was going in to take the lead. Yeah. Did you know that? That's
you texted me that.
I was like, oh frick, because you said, you're like, oh, Memphis has the lead, and I was like, yeah, but Arkansas is about to score, and then I turned the channel because I was just like, and Memphis, I go back, and it shows, or I check my phone, and Memphis has the ball with a minute, and so I quickly turn the channel back, and then they're showing the replay of the fumble, and I'm like, no way, dude, no way, That's the kind of stuff that you need to have happen to have a magical year.
Yep.
And I love it.
Yep. So, with that being said, how good is this American Athletic Conference?
Oh, dude, good race. Really good race.
Because now you have North Texas that's kind of...
North Texas is knocking on that door, so...
Memphis, North Texas is next week.
Not really?
Next week.
Oh, okay. October 4th. Yeah. October 4th. Yeah, that race is absolutely crazy because you're not going to write off Tulane. Tulane's obviously a good school. South Florida is still in that mix. Everybody just wants to forget about them, and they put up 63 points this week. Yeah. Don't forget about Byron Brown. Don't forget about Blake Horvath and Navy. Yeah. The AAC is actually going to be a really fun conference to track the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. And
It's kind of like what we used to say about, well, me and you have always talked about how we love Mountain West football.
yeah,
Well, now the American Athletic Conference is going to be kind of become that this year.
yeah, because the
So,
whole Mountain West is now the Pac-12, basically.
right, yeah,
Well, starting next year.
correct. So,
Um, Probably don't have to spend a whole lot of time on TCU SMU. Did you get to watch much of it?
I did a little bit here and there. Eric McAllister, really good wide receiver for TCU. Like, actually, really impressed with that guy. Big measurables. I was kind of shocked. TCU kind of ran out early. Then
Yeah,
SMU came back, and they actually had the lead 24-21 before TCU had the two big touchdowns late to kind of pull away.
yeah,
So, I mean, Kevin Jennings, it looks like, is hampered a little bit by that ankle injury that he did sustain against Baylor in overtime.
yeah,
Like, I think the announcers said something like that he might only be at 75% is what they said based on talking to Rhett Lashley like
yeah.
during the week or something, but he's still way better than their second option, you know. So, but like, yeah, I don't know. I am impressed with TCU's defense. They have clearly improved to an extent. Like, to what degree? Probably not as far as maybe we hoped, but
Yeah.
yeah, still a viable threat in the Big 12.
So this game, I got to see the first half while we were tailgating. Texas Tech's for real.
I told
Like,
you. I mean, I know I was like one that's sitting on that one on the
yeah,
last episode with you, but like I am shocked at the way how they did it. They scored 24 points in the fourth quarter,
and
you
but
know.
Baron
So
Morton wasn't there.
no, and their backup Will Hammond is actually really throws a really nice, pretty ball. Has a little bit. He has some scamper to him a little bit. So like he brings. I actually think he brings a little bit more of a running threat than Baron Morton does.
Yeah,
So, you know, like it doesn't look like there's much drop off, especially when you're thrust into a huge game like that and you perform the way that you do. It
yeah,
kind of reminded me. It kind of reminded me like when Jalen Daniels got hurt 2 years ago for Kansas, and was
yeah,
it Jacob Beans?
yeah. Bean.
Like the first time he came in, like he looked really really good.
Yeah,
It wasn't until later that we kind of figured like, oh, he struggles, right?
yeah,
Well, Hammond would be like kind of fit in that same category. Looked really good at first with his first opportunities. So I'm kind of excited about them. I love what they do on offense, dude.
yeah,
Holy crap! Like we could have used personally, Nebraska could have used some of that screen game. Like they run Texas Tech has done this for years,
yeah.
but like running middle screens and stuff where they're letting all those D linemen come through, and then your linemen are up on the second level, and like, I mean,
And
it's just a
like,
nice scheme. I like it a lot.
I mean, they catch everything, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like their receivers are elite.
Yep. Their tight end. Gosh, is it Terrence Carter? I think it's Terrence
Yeah,
Carter
Terrence
Jr.
Carter Jr.
So like, I thought he was actually just a receiver. He's that athletic that I didn't even realize he's a tight end. But I mentioned Martin Rucker and Chase Kaufman from Missouri from back in the like
Yeah,
2007. Like he's the athletic guy like that Martin Rucker was for Missouri.
yeah,
You know, long enough and lanky, thick. Gosh, dude, I
yeah.
really like Texas Tech moving forward. Like the money well spent, guys. Like well done, Red Raiders. Any Red Raider fans? Like if you listen to this,
Yeah.
you guys did something right,
Yeah.
or
And then
clearly.
then we'll go to a game that you kind of quickly brought up. Syracuse laid the wood to Clemson. Like that was the other
Oh,
game that was on when we were tailgating, and it was like every time you look up, Syracuse had scored again. The one
yeah,
downside is Angeli got hurt in that game.
he did, and it came out today. He tore his Achilles, so done for the
Yeah,
year.
he's done.
I was gonna mention that, but yeah. So he was going into the weekend. Angeli was the passing leader in yards in the
Yeah,
country. Their passing attack is good. It clearly they didn't drop off that bad in quarterback either, you know,
yeah,
because their quarterback led them to a couple touchdown drives or maybe a touchdown. But like, I don't know what the answer is in Clemson, man. Like Dabo's all defiant. Like I do not like the energy in Clemson.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
then you have Cade Klubnik out just talking crazy after the game. Like, anytime we had a big play, all of a sudden a Syracuse player got hurt. Like,
Oh
miss
yeah,
miss me with that shit, dude. Like,
yeah, no kidding. How about you guys point the thumb
yeah,
because you're now 1-3, like just
could
because
easily
if
be
you
0-4.
well, yeah. I mean, if they don't correct the ship mid game and have that weather delay against Troy,
Yeah,
it's just and they had Antonio Williams back this week. He
yeah,
was finally back in the lineup, so like they're supposed to be more explosive. And really, Klubnik he threw for over 300 yards. Like his stat line showed. Like I talked about this on the instant reaction last night. Like their stat lines were all pretty equal, but Clemson did turn the ball over
yeah,
twice. So,
yeah,
you know, I don't know. Like I don't like Dabo's. I'm not. I used to be a fan of Dabo,
yeah.
like, but I don't like the angle he's playing this whole like. Oh Jesus, we've won the league. We've won 8 out of the last 10 years. Like, is that not good? You know, like that whole bit.
I do think now with 2 losses in the ACC, they're out.
Oh yeah, they're done.
Yeah,
They're done.
like,
The person like there's no getting back, and I mean they'd have to win out and need some help and then win the ACC, but that's not
yeah,
going to happen. The culture right now and the energy, like
yeah.
there's not you don't I can't see a bounce back.
I agree. Um, Oklahoma Auburn. I feel like this is going to be the lead to every show tomorrow with what happened with the officials.
Yeah, so that okay. So
Second quarter.
yeah, I didn't get to see it. I had to go watch the replay, but like Oklahoma acts like they're throwing or taking a guy off the field and he kind of hides over there by the sideline. So it looks like they're subbing, but they're not. He ends up being wide open for a touchdown. They run a play. Well, you can't do that. That's actually illegal. And the SEC officials come out and the SEC conference
Yeah.
came out and stated that should have been called and wasn't. And now it's like, to me, like, okay, what does this statement do anyway?
Yeah.
Like, you can't retroactively be like, oh, taking a touchdown off the board. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to meet on Monday and play overtime.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I wish,
But the
because
reason why,
I don't believe in Oklahoma, but
yeah, the reason why I bring up second quarter is okay. So that happened in the second quarter. Auburn, what did you do in the third or fourth quarter to rectify that besides give up 10 freaking sacks?
yeah, see, in that like, okay, now I will say, I mean, you don't know if that drive ends in a touchdown regardless or a
Yeah.
field goal, but when Auburn gave up their 10th sack, this was like their final drive. You know, like Oklahoma had just gone down and scored with about 4.5 minutes to go to take the lead by 5 because Auburn had the lead at 17-16.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, that changes things too. Like, if that touchdown's not on the board, then you're running different offensive plays, and like the sequencing's different. Like, it's just like if Nebraska kicks a field goal at that first drive, like, how does that change? How does that change the whole flow of the game? You know, like maybe it doesn't, but you know, it's just one of those questionable things.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold on Oklahoma. And John, like, everybody's wanting to just give John Mateer the Heisman. Like, stop giving people the Heisman in week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just let the season play out, because if he loses 3 games and, you know, like, I mean, I know it's all just talking points, but it's like he hasn't even done enough yet for me to see that. Like, there's a lot of good quarterback play out there that's better than him.
Yeah.
So,
like, and I know we do our, like, on Tuesdays, or I guess it would be for the Wednesday show, like, we do talk about, like, a little bit of a Heisman race, but we never, like, say they're going to win the Heisman. It's just kind of, it's changed every week to, like, this is the guy that's standing out to us right now. It's never like, get on your phones right now and go put your money on freaking Haynes King, which we do that, though, because we do love Haynes King. But
yes, we do.
You know, like, we talked about Sawyer Robertson. And obviously he had a rough game this weekend. We talked about Byron Brown. We've talked about so many different guys. Jonah Coleman.
And,
like these are guys that are just sticking out to us. You know,
I'll throw a name out there that sounds effing crazy, and it's because of the dude that's like it's my hat right now.
Yeah, Diego.
Like nobody's gonna give Diego Pavia any love for a Heisman because he plays at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Right, and unless they go 11-1.
Yeah.
You know, but to me, his stats are almost identical to Mateer.
Yeah.
And he has huge wins too. Like,
well, we saw it on Twitter today. Like, people are still saying Lenora Sellers should be in the Heisman race.
Oh my gosh! Like, I can't believe that he's the highest.
Of 31.
I can't believe he's the highest graded quarterback by NFL scouts. Like, like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Like,
I mean,
not
this year, right now, anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's safe to say he'll end up like Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is hard to say after the day Caleb Williams had today, but
yeah, I didn't watch a single NFL game today. I was too busy watching the Memorial.
Yeah, which makes sense. That was the afternoon window. Then we got that was the morning window. Then we got into the afternoon window, and we can jump on Nebraska, Michigan. I was at the game. The atmosphere was insane. I'll put it this way. It wasn't a good game. It was a fun game.
Yeah. I think there's so many different ways to dissect this. And last night I hammered on our offensive tackles. Like I said, Nebraska's tackles, right?
Yeah.
And like knowing what and kind of sitting around, and I talked to Colin a little bit because he always he's the one that brings up like some of the techniques and the schemes that they're running, you know, and then you go back and you kind of watch film and whatever. And like, so they're running those really wide 9 techs that are really hard to block with your tackles, who I would consider our tackles are pretty stiff. Nebraska's tackles are stiff. Yeah. Like they're not overly agile. They don't have
what do you expect from a guy that's 6'10"?
Right, yeah. So I don't know. Like, I thought that there were I mean, it's hard to refute Raiola's numbers. I mean, 30 of 40, 31 of 40, or 30, 41, whatever. Like he was the first quarterback since however long ago to do that.
To throw over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns
against a Michigan defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's not like we got our doors blown off, but Nebraska, gosh, now you got me thinking about this whole possessive freaking talk too.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, my opinion is that a lot of people focus on the impactful plays, right? So you focus on the number 7 and those how many sacks there were. So 7 sacks.
Yeah.
The glaring issue that we can't run the ball, the glaring issue that they ran the ball as much as they wanted to, but they couldn't throw. They had 105 yards passing. You know, so like we largely kept them one-dimensional. You know, some of those passes, like the tackling was freaking bad on the outside. You know, like I think Sierra Wright had one of the worst grades he's had probably in his career.
Yeah.
Like, so it was just disheartening because you're kind of just hoping that Nebraska finally gets over the hump. I mean, even the national pundits, Josh Pate, some of those guys were thinking. Clay Travis said the same thing, something today about, like, I was wrong. Like, I thought Nebraska was finally going to win a big game. You know, the whole 0-28 against ranked opponents is a horrible
They had
thing.
every opportunity, man.
Yeah, I mean, the missed field goal, the not taking the points on the goal-to-go situation,
stepping out of bounds
with Isaiah Hunter, you know, like
that would have given Nebraska the lead.
Right. You know, so like we would lose by 3, that puts us at 31-30, plus if you have 2 field goals, if you make the one.
Now can I counteract with one thing? We keep saying if this happens, if that happens, if this happens. Nebraska also got a Hail Mary to close out the half.
I know that.
That just doesn't happen.
Right. Like, I've thought about that. I've thought about that too. Like, I mean, like we had some egregious things go our way. Because like when you said about how Nebraska had the late touchdown to kind of make it like be closer.
It look closer than what it was. Yeah.
I mean, and then you kind of take that into perspective, and then you take the Hail Mary, and it's like, man, we were pretty, like, Nebraska's pretty good between the 20s, but man, when that field condenses, we have a hard time scoring, and there's a lot. You'll see that with a lot of teams across the country. Like, you just can't run over people when you need to, and when that field condenses, you have to have the ability to do that. And so if you can't, then like you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose games like, like close in those close games that are like somewhat evenly matched or seem evenly matched.
Now, there's one player I want to point out. I'm going to make a comparison, but my comparison is on physical looks. It's not on how he plays. Jayshon Barham, number 1 for Michigan, physically looks like Micah Parsons. I'm not saying he's Micah Parsons. I want to put that out there. But physically, this dude looks like a Greek god. And me and Levi both walked away from that game when we were talking last night. Like, he sticks out, dude. He's going to be a day 1 draft pick in the NFL.
Right. So they alluded to that on the broadcast, Danielson and was Nessler? Yeah. Like, they alluded to the whole idea. I don't think they came out and said Parsons, but they made reference to a certain Penn State, and so like they kind of made that comparison. I felt like.
Like you named it from Penn State, LeVar Arrington.
Right. Carter, I mean, and those guys have had tons of them, but
Carter from last year, like.
Right, but wouldn't you say like this guy's kind of like the same? Wasn't Jabril Peppers kind of in that category a little bit?
Yes, but Jabril was, safety linebacker.
Okay, yeah.
And this guy could be starting DN. Like, I mean, I haven't seen someone like that for Nebraska. I can tell you that much.
No, it's been years. Like the last time, the first person you think of that, like in most recency, is probably Randy Gregory.
Oh no, like I'm talking maybe Adam Carricker, like that far back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I'm talking
Gregory
about
had chicken legs, dude. This guy had it.
Well, if you're talking about just physical, like
that's
the way they look,
physical presence.
Okay, so stature.
Yes, physical stature. Like, dude, he was different, man.
Yeah. Nebraska hasn't really had they haven't had an edge presence that's really been an intimidating threat, and I wouldn't even say I wouldn't even say Carricker. Like, I would be like, in terms of an edge presence, like Randy Gregory was that. Obviously Ndamukong Suh was inside.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, like it's like you go back to the 90s.
Yeah, with Wistrom.
Maybe. Well, I mean, probably Kyle Vandenbosch because he was after, I guess. But like.
Yes.
But like, there hasn't been many since, and it's been 25 years plus. And then
the other thing that, dude, this freaking killed me, and it pissed me off about Nebraska fans. Ernest Hausman had himself a game.
Of course.
Middle linebacker from Columbus, Nebraska, transferred from Nebraska after Frost was fired to Michigan. I don't know the backstory. All I know is this guy's an amazing human. The stuff he does off the field. He is a presence on the field as their starting linebacker, and he had himself a game yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't pay enough attention.
Booed him every time he got a tackle.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Kid made a decision to do what he thought was best for him in his career. I mean, can't fault him for that. I mean, Husker fans are going to be fickle like that a little bit, I guess. Whatever, that's fine. But I'm sure they would have done the same thing had they seen Xavier Watts and Notre Dame march into Lincoln and he catches a touchdown or intercepts a ball or whatever you want to call it. Like they just expect these freaking dudes to only, like, what happens if Miami came to town?
Yeah, with Sharmar.
With Marty Brown, like, is that what they say for short? Is Marty Brown?
Yeah, they call him Marty for short.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But Sharmar Brown's his legal name. Dude, he was so much fun to watch in high school.
I mean, it just goes to show, like, I think that's just kind of goes to show that Nebraska kids aren't going to just stay in Lincoln anymore. But that's just because it's not the same place as it used to be. Like, if you have aspirations to, and we don't put players in the NFL like we used to, and
yeah, I do.
so
I do
take your chances elsewhere.
One thing that's going to hurt Nebraska recruiting. Look at the list of guys that have left the state. The success they're having, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
you know, like that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like that's why it was such a big deal to me. To like, you have to have a sense of urgency when you're going through coaches. Like, I felt like obviously Callahan. You know, we were still putting dudes in the NFL on those. Like, and then Pelini, we were, and then like it started to just crumble. Like, not putting anyone in the league. And then you start then you have to have a sense of urgency because those things freaking matter, dude. Like, it's not just on. And I don't know. I guess I was talking to Alex about this. I feel like we're kind of in that mode, and I could be totally way off. Like, I'm not saying this is a fact. So if you're listening to this, Colin, don't take this as a as I think this is fact. This is just me having questions, right?
Yeah.
So like, is Nebraska having this approach of like, we're going to try to put NFL dudes in the NFL and have that mantra, to like, hey, we're going to get you the NFL. We have NFL coaches, all this stuff. But like, to me, winning will put you in the NFL.
Yeah.
So like, focus on winning the game. And so like, I guess I was talking with Alex about this, about offensive identity and scheme and all this stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to do so much stuff that mimics NFL offense. Like, all these quick passes to the outside and all these freaking hooks, like going 5 wide and running 5 hooks, like nothing deep. Like, that's NFL stuff. Like, I can't stand watching that kind of football. I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
And then when Nebraska finally took a shot late there at the end of the game for Isaiah, they get a pass interference call. It's like, where was the shot before?
Right. And
how many times has Raiola drawn pass interferences?
Right, and I feel like he throws the ball to get that rather than put it into the hands of the receiver, make an explosive play that kids are like, that's awesome. Nobody gets excited about a pass interference.
Yeah.
But he's auditioning to get in the NFL. That's my personal opinion. I don't think this is going to be out there, and I know that Colin's going to be pissed when he hears me say this, but I don't really care. But like, I honestly think that Raiola is only concerned about Raiola getting to the NFL. I don't honestly think he cares about bringing national championships or conference championships or a 9-win season to Nebraska. I just don't. Like, it's too me stuff. We talk about Dabo being that way. Yeah. Raiola is that way, in my opinion, as a player.
Yep. All right, that's enough on the Nebraska Michigan.
Get me off of this. Yeah, get me off of this.
Well, we're already at 47 minutes, so
there's a lot of football left.
Oh God, yeah, we're not even to the night schedule yet.
Yeah, we got our top 30 to do. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, man, I got to get the games pulled up. The
fast money here. Let's play fast money.
Okay, because we can spend 0 time on the next game other than I told you so. Ole Miss wiped the floor with Tulane.
Yeah, and we already mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, Jake Retzlaff can't be the do-it-all.
Yeah. Missouri beats South Carolina 29-20. Did not cover.
Dude, that sucks. Like, I expected Missouri to kind of handle that. Yeah. I'm shocked. I really thought that Missouri was better than Vanderbilt. And maybe they are, but like, I guess if you're comparing scores, it doesn't look that way. And Vandy was dominant a week ago against South Carolina, and Missouri wasn't. So, I guess kudos to South Carolina. I didn't watch a ton of that game.
Yeah. Baylor, Arizona State. I watched a lot of this because that was a close game all night. Arizona State gets the win. Man.
That's another one. That's another fumble at the 1-yard line that Baylor had. Good Lord.
Yeah, Big 12.
You just don't know. Don't know
right now. It's
Big
Texas
12.
Tech and Texas Tech, Iowa State, everyone else. Because I think there's a gap between Texas Tech and Iowa State.
Well, you'd have to assume so because I think you have to. On recency bias, you're judging Iowa State based off that close game with Arkansas State, So, like, if they get some things figured out offensively,
that and Kansas State looks like dog water.
Right, and that was early, so like, that's kind of before the wheels started falling off for K-State, so...
Because you didn't know what you were going to get from Kansas State.
Right. So, I mean, if you use SEC logic, that's a ranked win.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if K-State finishes 2-10 or whatever.
Yeah. Miami and Florida. Score does not indicate how the game went.
No. Miami's defense was dominant. You showed me that stat today, but I talked through that last night, and 0 of 13 on third downs for Florida. Like, they were already awful coming in on third down. I think they were 1 of 15 coming in or something dumb in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And like, it might have been worse than that. But it was rainy. It was rainy down there. I felt like it kind of limited what Miami wanted to do offensively because it was wet. And I mean, which kind of actually plays into Cristobal like being able to try to play bully ball, and that's why the score was a little bit compact compared to where it could have been because it stayed at 13-0 for a long time.
And obviously, there's a lot of emotions. That's a rivalry, so it's going to be played different.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where Florida had like 40 yards of offense, and then they go down on one of the drives right out of halftime, and it might have been their first drive. Goes 80 yards, scores, and then you're kind of thinking like, oh no, like if you're a guy that doesn't want to see the SEC get like to be like overly glorified, you're thinking like Miami's got to freaking shore this up, like.
Yeah.
And they did. They buckled down, and then they scored 2 garbage touchdowns really late in the fourth. So I didn't even know that they scored the second one. Like I quit watching when it was 19-7. So.
Well, I got good news and I got bad news on DJ Lagway.
Well, I know that he came out and said that they were gonna like he did the whole Tim Tebow thing.
Yeah. The bad news is he threw for 61 yards.
Oh my gosh!
Do you want the good news?
I thought that was the good news, was that he came out and like was being. No,
the good news is he didn't turn the ball over.
Oh yeah.
So that's good on him. So they had more points than interceptions.
That's funny. Let's quickly talk through this real quick because this is relevant to LSU.
Okay.
So LSU wins that game over Florida last week 20-10.
Yeah, right? With 5 interceptions.
With 5 picks in short fields.
Yeah.
Right? Miami didn't have that same luxury and wins 26-7. So like I didn't really put that stuff together until we started talking through this a little bit, like cuz well, we'll get into our top 3 or 30. But now that I kind of know that, like that 26-7 win is a little bit better because Florida was able to take care of the ball in the game, even though they couldn't move it. They weren't. Yeah. They were at least able to punt it away and not give a short field, on 5 possessions. So,
one thing and 2 things actually. One is, did Malachi Tony come back in? I know he got banged up on a play, but I don't remember seeing him.
It was on the far sideline. He hurt his wrist falling out of bounds. It looked like he was kind of favoring that wrist. I never saw him come back in, but I wasn't watching that closely anyway.
And then the other thing was, I think Carson Beck kind of came back to earth a little bit this week. 17 of 30 for 160.
Yeah, well, that kind of tells me that you like probably don't want to be a Heisman frontrunner because going into this week, he was the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah.
And like maybe that's the new like number 2 thing, like from 2007. Like once your odds are the Heisman frontrunner, you're gonna suck the next week.
Yeah. They ran the ball.
There is no flag next to Malachi Tony's name on Fantrax, so he's healthy.
Okay. They ran the ball 42 times.
Miami did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're trying to play bully ball because it was rainy and all that crap. So
yeah, because Fletcher went for 116 and Shamar went for 80.
That's a great duo, by the way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I would kill to have one of those in Lincoln because you need to have the tough yardage guy.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to say that I said this last night. I'm going to bounce right back just because I love EJ. I love Emmett Johnson for Nebraska, but he's a third down back. Like he is a third down guy.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be the bell cow, and like he runs so tall too. He does good in blitz pickup,
Yeah.
But he runs so tall, he just gets spanked and smacked when he's inside the tackles. Like, dude, like we need somebody to develop. Like,
The
would
last
have been
game,
nice to have Marty Brown. I guess
yeah,
that's my point. That's what it kind of
he was on
segued
a
there.
visit. He
Yeah.
visited.
So,
Nebraska didn't throw the briefcase though that Miami did.
right.
He committed to Cal for about 3 minutes,
Oh my
surprisingly,
gosh.
and then
Well,
Miami
good thing
came
he,
in.
good thing he didn't go there, getting beat 34
Yeah.
to 0 to South San Diego State last night.
Yeah.
That game I did not go over because it was in progress while I was recording. So
Yeah.
wild.
The last game we'll kind of hit on. We don't got to hit on too much because there's not a whole lot to hit on. Indiana wipes the floor with Illinois. And I think the funnier part was the link you sent me right before we hopped on was Curt Cignetti coming out and saying, yeah, I knew our D-line was going to dominate their O-line. When all the talk all year's been about how Illinois is going to have the best offensive line in the Big Ten.
That's okay. So I've been on this train of thought. Like, experience doesn't always mean you're just going to be better than other people. Like, just because you have 60 freaking games to your belt as a left guard doesn't mean you're a top left guard in the country. Because what if you've graded out to be below average your entire time playing there because they have nobody else there? Doesn't mean you're all of a sudden a great guy. And now I know Illinois they're better than what I'm just giving as an example.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Like, experience is probably overinflated sometimes. Because otherwise, look at Mark Gronowski. He'd never get beat.
Yeah.
I mean, he has. So
and then you go to a guy like Isaiah Worlds, who was at Nevada last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's only started one season, and now this guy's going to be an all Big Ten tackle for Oregon this year.
Right. Yeah. What a sweet name, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Anyway,
and you talk about everyone's talked about the tackles for Utah being first and second rounders, and they got destroyed yesterday.
Yeah, but that's part of like Texas Tech. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, when we talk about why we like certain teams, probably don't do a good enough job as to explaining why we like them, that it's from both sides of the ball, because Texas Tech's defense is equally impressive as their offense. Like, they fly. You talked about Kansas earlier in the year, flying around. Okay, well, that didn't come into fruition against Mizzou, but Texas Tech has that swagger. You can just see it. They're a top team. Like, they're in for like a magical year in terms of Texas Tech standards.
Yep.
And the same thing is true again with Indiana. You know, Indiana's defense, like, everybody wants to focus on the 63 points, but their defense, like, it's just like Cignetti said. He's like, after watching the film with Duke, like, I was pretty confident that our D line would whip them, and they did. He literally, like, and it's funny because if you go watch the second clip, and I didn't send that one to you, but he talked about the Duke Illinois game, and he talked about how the same stuff we talked about for 2 weeks about Duke and Illinois. Duke out-yarded them. They had 5 turnovers. Didn't make the game indicative of what the score was. Like, or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm tooting our horn on that.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're just two dudes that like to talk college football, but I think we kind of know and understand what to dissect and try to have a good idea of what's going on. And so I felt validated in that, by the way.
Yeah. You want to bring up our top 30?
Yep. Let's do that. All right.
Let's read the teams off, and then we'll go into discussion after.
Okay.
So
you want to go? You starting from 30 or going down from 1?
Let's go down from 1.
Okay.
So, Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, Georgia. That's your top 5. Now you'll see where we are not the AP. Florida State 6, Texas Tech 7, OU 8, LSU 9, Indiana 10. Alabama 11, Texas 12, Georgia Tech 13, Vanderbilt, Michigan. 16, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Illinois, Iowa State, Notre Dame. Then we get round out. Well, I guess not round out, but the Tennessee, USC.
Tennessee at 21. Yep.
USC, Auburn, Utah, Missouri, and then since we go to 30 because we're better, Memphis, Washington, TCU, BYU, Maryland to round out the top 30.
Maryland at 30. Let's go.
What sticks out to you?
Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, Indiana, like that group of schools. You can maybe throw Georgia Tech in there in terms of those 4 schools look like they're out of place, right? Yes. But we just got done talking about Texas Tech. We've already I'm wearing a Vanderbilt hat.
Talked Indiana.
Yep, talked Indiana. Georgia Tech, we clearly have gone over Haynes King. They're just continue to keep playing well. And then Vanderbilt, Pavia Palooza. These are schools that we've talked about and we knew that we needed to, and now they're showing up to being in that top 20, top 15. Meanwhile, some of these schools are still fighting. They're not tooth and nail they're fighting tooth and nail, but there's not a clear gap, but they're clearly behind that top 15, I think. So, a lot of SEC schools, the depth is there. I'll admit it. They're freaking deep.
I think the first glaring one that people will point out is how the hell do you have LSU at 9?
Okay, so LSU at 9 is it's the whole Clemson effect, right?
Clemson and Florida,
right?
Yeah.
That was partly why you had Miami at 1.
Yeah.
I actually left them at 5.
Yeah.
Which is why we averaged those out.
Yeah.
And they got to 3. Now, if you're not watching on YouTube, you're just listening, go to our social media real quick, as you listen to this, and you'll see this posted up, and you can look for yourself.
Yeah.
But LSU, their struggles on offense, they actually struggled on offense through 2 quarters against Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah.
It eventually got to be really inflated.
Yeah.
But they started to struggle, and it's holy crap, Brian Kelly. What is going on?
Their best win right now is looking to be Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Louisiana Tech had a big win yesterday.
So, I guess my point, this weekend came out where Heather Dinich, did you see this garbage?
No.
She talking about LSU had such a great win over. It's Clemson that was a season-defining win and all this stuff, and then Georgia Tech beats Clemson, and Georgia Tech still has more to prove.
Yeah.
She contradicted herself over the same opponent, but because it's the SEC versus the ACC, and it's not the narrative that fits. Georgia Tech's got to prove more because they haven't been there yet. That freaking narrative is so stupid, and it's the same thing I saw some Alabama fans saying about Indiana. They're like, oh, well, they only play Oregon and Penn State this year, so their schedule's a little light. What? Yeah. It's not freaking light. They just beat the number 9 team in the country 63-10. And so then they dog on Illinois rather than how good Indiana is.
Yep.
The script would be flipped if it was the SEC.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, how great is the team that won because that team that they just hammered is really good.
Yeah. And if Heather Dinich wants to dive into Indiana, who's Indiana's 2 losses in the past 2 years?
The 2 title game contenders.
Yeah, Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
And that Notre Dame game ended up being close. Yeah. And I know that was kind of garbage time, but still, yeah.
So, and then kind of talking about Maryland, they're looking nice. That Malik Washington, freshman quarterback, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's not one that you like to see if you are a Husker fan, because going to Maryland.
Yeah,
and that's right before the whole trap game thing you guys were talking about with Minnesota on the short week. So, but 27-10 over Wisconsin, not much different than 38-14 for Bama. Over Wisconsin or whatever it was. So there's not a huge difference there.
Yeah.
So, I'm not ready to say Maryland is that level, but
I think
it's a good win. I think that's a really good win for them.
Yeah, and I think heading into this week, this week is put up or shut up week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't wait to do our preview show.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be awesome.
So, and I think we've gone over an hour now, so we can save all that for Wednesday and Friday.
Oh yeah.
Look forward to an exciting week, guys.
If anybody,
this is the weekend of the year.
Please, 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 dear Lord, if you have any contentions of our top 30, just throw them out. Throw them out. Let us know, because we'll talk about them. So
yeah,
hit us with that stuff.
Yeah. So like, follow, subscribe, share, 5 stars. Wednesday.
Adios, amigos.